Two tractors sit on two different lots, wearing two different colors, separated by $7,000. Same engine, same transmission, same frame. In some cases, they rolled off the same assembly line in the same week, and the only real difference between them is the sticker on the hood and the sign above the dealership door. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's how the tractor business actually works, and it's been working that way for over 50 years. Today I'm walking you through 10 brand pairings where the machines underneath are the same or close enough that the price gap should make you stop and think. Some of these will surprise you. One of them involves a badge that also builds supercars. And before we get rolling, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because this is exactly the kind of thing the brochures will never tell you, and I put out videos like this every week. Let's start with the biggest name in the business. Number 1, John Deere and Yanmar. Now hold on, Green Army, put the pitchforks down. Nobody's saying your big row crop deer came from somewhere else, but the compact side of the John Deere lineup has a much closer relationship with Yanmar of Japan than most owners realize, and it's not a secret, it's just something the dealer doesn't bring up while you're admiring the paint. Go back through the decades and you'll find entire generations of John Deere compact tractors that were built by Yanmar in Japan. The 650, the 750, the 850, the 950, the 1050. Those machines were Yanmar products through and through, engine, drivetrain, and chassis, wearing green paint and a leaping deer, and they were good tractors. Ask anyone who still runs one. A lot of those little deers from the late 1970s and 1980s are still working today, and part of the reason is that Yanmar diesel sitting under the hood. The relationship never really ended either. Fast forward to the modern compact lineup, and plenty of John Deere models are still powered by Yanmar diesel engines. Deere handles the assembly and the styling on the current machines, and the dealer network is all Deere, but crack open the engine bay on a lot of 1 Series, 2 Series, and 3 Series compacts, and you're looking at Japanese engineering with a green valve cover. And here's the part most buyers never hear. On the modern machines, it's not just the engine. The hydrostatic transmission, the second most expensive component on the whole tractor, comes from Kanzaki, a Japanese driveline company that Yanmar owns a majority stake in. So on many of these compacts, the two parts that actually decide how long the machine lives, the diesel and the hydro, both trace back to the Yanmar family. What Deere brings to the table is the frame, the loader, the styling, the electronics, and the final assembly, done at Deere's own plant in the United States. That's real work. And it's not nothing. But the drivetrain, the part doing the actual farming, speaks Japanese. So what are you actually paying for with the badge? Because here's the kicker. Yanmar sells its own compact tractors in America, and owners report that comparable Yanmar models quote out thousands of dollars under the equivalent green machine, even though the company building the heart of both tractors is the same one. On the modern machines, the Deere Premium buys you Deere's dealer network, which is enormous, Deere's parts support, and Deere's resale value, which is real money when you sell. Those things have value. But the heart of the machine, the part that decides whether it starts at 10 below zero in 20 years, that came from Yanmar. And Yanmar will sell you that same heart for less. The green halo is partly painted in Japan, and that's just documented history, not internet gossip. Number 2, Bobcat and Kioti. Yes, that Bobcat, the skid steer people. When Bobcat decided to get into compact tractors, they didn't build a tractor factory. They picked up the phone and called Daidong, the Korean company that builds Kioti. The Bobcat CT 1000 and CT 2000 series compacts are Daidong machines, which makes them mechanically almost identical to their Kioti counterparts. Same engine, same transmission, same frame, same hydraulics, same axles. Put a Bobcat CT 2025 next to a comparable Kioti, and what you're really comparing is a hood design, a paint color, a set of decals, and 2 different dealer networks. Owners report that the manuals and parts diagrams line up so closely you can cross-reference service parts between the 2 brands, which is about as close to a confession as this industry gets. Now, I'll be fair here because the details matter, and this one cuts the other direction. Buyers found that during some model years, the Bobcat version actually sold for $3,000 to $5,000 less than the Kioti wearing the same bones. But same bones doesn't always mean same spec sheet. Part of that gap was a lighter loader on the Bobcat. not badge savings. Loader ratings, tire packages, and included features can differ between the orange machine and the white one, and sometimes a price gap that looks like free money is actually a smaller arm. So when you're comparing, compare the whole machine, not just the model number. But the core of it stands. If you're standing on a Bobcat lot and a Kioti lot in the same week, you're not choosing between two tractors. You're choosing between two dealers selling the same tractor. Pick the one with better service, better parts, availability, and a better price, because the steel doesn't know which sign was out front. Number 3, Case YH and LS tractor. Case IH is about as red-blooded American as farm equipment branding gets. The Farmall name alone carries 100 years of history, so it surprises a lot of people to learn that several Case IH Farmall compact models were built by LS Tractor, a Korean manufacturer, under an OEM agreement. Here's what that means in plain language. LS builds the tractor, engine, transmission, chassis, hydraulic system, the whole working machine. Case IH puts its styling on it, its badge on the hood, its model number on the side, and sells it through the red dealer network. The tractor underneath shares its guts with the equivalent LS model that's sitting on an LS lot, and the forums are full of quotes putting the LS version $4,000 to $6,000 cheaper with comparable loader and spec. Same builder, same guts, two very different numbers on the window. And the evidence isn't buried. Owners report that LS's own dealer diagnostic software lists Case YH models right alongside LS models, because it's the same electronics talking to the same computer. Now, the Farmall badge does buy you something. Case IH has a big dealer network, and if your nearest LS dealer is 90 miles away while the red dealership is 10 minutes down the road, that convenience is worth real money over the life of the machine. Warranty work, loaner availability, parts on the shelf, that's the honest case for paying the premium. But be clear-eyed about what the premium is. You're not paying for a better tractor, you're paying for a closer one. Number 4, New Holland and LS tractor. Many New Holland boomer compact tractors came out of the same LS factories as the Case IH compacts we just talked about. And that makes a strange kind of sense once you know that New Holland and Case IH are corporate siblings under the same parent company. So the blue brand and the red brand, the two colors that have been fighting in comment sections since the internet was invented, have been selling compacts built by the same Korean manufacturer. Under the blue paint, a boomer shares its frame, engine, drivetrain, and hydraulic components with the comparable LS model. The differences are the hood, the decals, the model naming, and the dealership you drive to. And the money gap here is the widest on this list, where the LS version with a loader came in around $7,000 under the New Holland, wearing the same steel, $16,000 and change against nearly $24,000 for machines from the same builder. That's not a discount. That's a second tractor's worth of down payment spent on paint. Here's the part that gets me. Walk onto a lot and you'll hear guys defending blue against red like it's a family feud. And for the big frame tractors, fine. There are real differences worth arguing about, but in the compact aisle, the machine both crowds are defending might have come off the same line. The paint war is a sticker war, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Quick pause here. If this video has already saved you from paying $5,000 for a logo, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel, and it tells me you want more of the stuff the sales brochures leave out. Now let's talk about the farm store tractor. Number 5, Rural King and Time. Rural King sells tractors under its own RK brand, and I'll give them credit. They've never pretended to be something they're not. Rural King doesn't manufacture tractors. The RK series is built by TYM, another major Korean manufacturer, and in many cases, an RK tractor is essentially the same machine as a TYM model with different paint and a different warranty card in the glove box. Same engine, same chassis, same transmission and hydraulics. The distinctions come down to branding, warranty terms, and where you buy it. An RK comes from a farm store that also sells you fencing, feed, and work boots, while the TYM version comes from a traditional equipment dealer. And this is where it gets interesting for the value hunters, because the farm store model changes the math. RK pricing has a reputation for undercutting name brand equivalents by thousands of dollars. The same TYM built machine that wears a premium badge elsewhere sells at the farm store for a working man's price. And Rural King services what it sells through its store network. For a homeowner or small operation that needs a loader tractor for chores, that combination is hard to argue with. The trade-off is the one you'd expect. A farm store isn't a dedicated tractor dealership, and service depth varies by location. Some stores have solid service operations, others are thinner, and owners report a mixed bag depending on where they are in the country. So the machine is proven. TYM has been building tractors for decades and supplies more badges than most people realize. The question isn't the steel. The question is whether the support behind it fits your situation. Check your local store before you fall in love with the price. Number 6. Same in Lamborghini. Most people know Lamborghini for supercars, but the tractors came first. Ferruccio Lamborghini built tractors in Italy years before he ever built a sports car, and the tractor business didn't die when he moved on to chasing Ferrari. Lamborghini Trattori still exists today, and here's the part that matters for this list. It's owned by the SDF Group, the same Italian company that owns Same. And within SDF, Same and Lamborghini tractors share the machinery that counts. Same engines, same transmissions, same hydraulics, chassis, and cabs across comparable model lines. A Lamborghini tractor and its Same counterpart are, in mechanical terms, close siblings wearing different suits. The differences come down to styling, trim levels, and brand identity. The Lamborghini wears sharper bodywork and that famous bull, and it's aimed at buyers who want a machine that looks as serious as it works. Think about what that means for your wallet. In markets where both brands sell side by side, the Lamborghini badge tends to carry a premium of several thousand over the comparable Same for a machine built from the same SDF engineering. You could pay extra for the bull on the hood, or flip it around, buy the Same, and know you're getting Lamborghini's guts without funding the supercar name. Either way, this is the purest example on the whole list of what a badge really is. Nobody cross-shops these machines thinking they're different tractors. The company doesn't even hide it. SDF openly runs multiple brands on shared platforms, and the buyer picks the identity they want to drive. At least in Italy, they're honest about it. Number 7. Hürlimann and Lamborghini. Hürlimann is a Swiss tractor brand with a history going back over 90 years, and it's the third member of the SDF family alongside Same and Lamborghini. And just like the other two, Hürlimann models are built on shared SDF platforms. Many models use the same engines, the same driveline components, and the same hydraulic systems as their Lamborghini and Sam counterparts. The green paint and the Swiss heritage are real, and the brand has genuine history in the mountains of Europe, but the modern machines are SDF engineering, wearing a different name for a different market. So now you've got one Italian company running 3 badges, an Italian workhorse brand, a supercar name, and a Swiss mountain brand. And comparable models across all 3 share their mechanical core. Each badge gets its own styling, its own trim strategy, and its own dealer network, tuned to the loyalties of a particular region. A farmer in the Alps might never consider anything but a Hürlimann. A farmer 200 miles south swears by Same, and they might both be running the same driveline. This is the game at the global level, and honestly, it's not a scam. It's efficiency. One set of engineering costs spread across 3 brands means each machine can be built better for the money. The part that should bother you is only this: the price differences between the badges. Where the spec is the same and the number on the window isn't, that gap is brand identity, and you're the one funding it. I'm curious about something, and the comment section is the place for it. Have you ever cross-shopped 2 brands and figured out they were the same machine underneath? Drop the models in the comments, because those stories are half the reason these videos exist, and the other viewers read them. Number 8. McCormick and Landini. Both of these names carry serious history. Landini is one of the oldest tractor makers in Italy, and McCormick traces its name back to the roots of the American harvesting business. But today, both brands are owned by Argo Tractors, an Italian company, and many of their models are built on the same platforms in the same factories. Comparable McCormick and Landini models often share engines, transmissions, rear axles, hydraulic systems, and cabs. Line up the spec sheets on equivalent series, and the numbers mirror each other because they're describing the same hardware. What separates them is what you can see. Each brand has its own styling language, its own color, its own dealer network, and its own pocket of loyal buyers who'd never switch. And that last part is the point. Argo keeps both brands alive because brand loyalty is real, even when the machines aren't different. There are regions where the Landini name has meant tractors for 100 years. And there are buyers who connected with McCormick and never left. The parent company isn't going to throw away either relationship, so both badges live on, sharing their bones. For you as a buyer, the play is the same as it's been all list long, and here the money is sitting right on the table. Because pricing on these 2 brands is set dealer by dealer and market by market, the same platform can quote out thousands apart depending on which badge and which lot you walk onto. Same machine, 2 dealer networks, 2 negotiations. If you're shopping one of these brands, price the equivalent model from the sibling brand before you sign anything. One of them will want your business more than the other that week, and there's no rule that says you have to pay the higher number for the same steel. Number 9. Ford and New Holland. There are no new Ford tractors anymore, and there haven't been for a generation. But Ford was one of the giants, the brand that put tractors on small farms across America, and that business didn't vanish. It was absorbed. Ford's tractor operation merged with New Holland in the late 1980s, and through the corporate shuffles of the early 1990s, New Holland ended up inheriting essentially the whole thing: the engineering, the model lineage, the manufacturing expertise, and much of the dealer network. The early machines from that era were quite literally Ford tractors with new branding, same machine, new name on the hood, sold under agreements that phased the Ford name out of the tractor business over time. And the DNA didn't stop there. Model families and engineering that started life under the blue oval carried Ford into New Holland's lineup, developed and updated under the new flag. So when someone tells you New Holland is the successor to the Ford tractor legacy, that's not marketing spin. That's the paper trail. And there's even a money angle hiding in the used market. From the transition years, the same tractor exists wearing either badge, and the pricing on those machines can swing depending on which name is on the hood. Buyers pay up for the badge they grew up with, on iron that's identical underneath. If your father or grandfather ran a Ford, the closest living relative of that machine wears New Holland blue today, which, if you remember number 4 on this list, means the Ford legacy now lives in the same corporate family as Case IH, while some of its smallest modern tractors are built in Korea by LS. The family tree of this industry is a tangled thing, and the badges are the last part of it to admit anything changed. Number 10, Mahindra and Mitsubishi/TYM/LS. And this one's the grand finale because Mahindra didn't partner with one manufacturer. Depending on the model and the era, they've sourced tractors from at least 3. Mahindra is a giant, one of the biggest tractor sellers on the planet by volume. But for its American compact lineup, Mahindra has leaned on established manufacturers, and the supplier depends on which series you're looking at. Over the years, that list has included Mitsubishi of Japan, TYM of Korea, the same TYM that builds for Rural King, and LS Tractor, the same LS that's built for Case H and New Holland. Depending on the specific series, a Mahindra compact may share its engine, transmission, frame, and drivetrain with the original manufacturer's own version of that machine, sometimes sold in the same market at a different price. And the gap can be serious money. Owners report cases where the TYM built version of a subcompact sold in the $10,000 to $12,000 range with a loader, while the Mahindra badged sibling ran closer to $17,000 or $18,000. That's roughly $5,000 to $7,000 riding on a logo and a loader spec. Guys have lined up certain Mahindra models next to their TYM or Mitsubishi-based counterparts and finding the same castings and the same components under different plastics. The Mahindra contribution is the branding, the styling, the warranty, and the dealer network. Here's why I saved it for last. If you've been keeping score, the same handful of names keep surfacing behind the badges: LS, TYM, Daidong, Yanmar, Mitsubishi. A small circle of Korean and Japanese manufacturers builds or supplies the guts for a huge share of the compact tractors sold in America, no matter what color they're painted. The lot looks like 12 companies competing. Underneath, it's closer to 5 factories wearing 12 costumes. Once that clicks, every compact tractor ad reads differently. So what do you actually do with all this? Because the point was never to make you cynical about every badge on the market. Shared factories aren't a scandal. Shared factories are how a good tractor gets built at a price a small operation can afford. The point is to make you unsellable. First move, before you buy anything, find out who actually builds it. Ask the salesman straight out and read the serial plate yourself, because the plate doesn't work on commission. If the badge and the builder don't match, you've just learned exactly what the premium is buying. Second move, price the source brand against the premium badge. If an LS, a TYM, or a Kioti shares its bones with the name brand version, get quotes on both. Sometimes the premium badge earns its money. A dealer 10 minutes away instead of 2 hours. Better resale. A stronger loader spec. Sometimes the premium is just paint. The quotes will tell you which one you're looking at. Third move, weigh the dealer, not just the tractor. When 2 machines are the same underneath, the dealership becomes the product. Parts on the shelf, a service department that answers the phone, a loaner when yours is down during hay season. That's what you're really choosing between. A cheaper identical tractor with no support within 100 miles isn't a bargain, it's a gamble. And through all of it, remember the simple test. Every dollar of price difference between 2 machines is buying something. Your only job is to make the salesman tell you what. The colors will keep fighting in the comment sections, and honestly, that's fine. Loyalty is part of what makes this world fun. Defend your brand all day long, just defend it knowing what's actually under under the hood, because the steel doesn't care what color got sprayed on it, and the factory that built your tractor probably built your neighbor's too, no matter what the two hoods claim. You're the one signing the check. Make the machine earn it, not the sticker. If you learned something today, subscribing is the best way to say so, and there's a video on your screen right now that YouTube picked out just for you. I'd start there.